Hi, Sneak Peek group. I'm so excited to share this with you. I just want to share today with you the nutrition plan because it has so changed my life and it's really changing my ladies' lives that are in my group right now. They are losing inches and pant sizes, so inches lost equals fat lost. I don't think I ever knew that, but inches lost means you're losing fat, you're getting smaller and tighter, and that's what you want to do. That's the goal. So, couple of things, just so you know. This program came out about 2 years ago when the 21-day fix came out. That's when those little containers came out. And they have actually been so helpful. You have no idea. And just some good information to know is that you can buy the containers separately with the portion fix, or they come in several of the programs now. So the 21-day fix, the extreme, they come with the hammer and chisel, several of the different programs. And even if they don't come with the program, they are talking about them in the programs. So the newer programs talk about the portions, which is really cool. So previous to this, like with P90X3, they talked about portions as in your hand sizes, and you've heard this before probably, where your protein is the size of your palm, or something is the size of your fist, your finger, that kind of stuff. And so while I followed that, I still wasn't getting the results that I wanted until the system came out, because then I realized what I was eating too much of or not enough of. And basically what I realized is that I was eating way too many carbs, because so many things are carbs, like crackers are carbs and pretzels are carbs. And those tend to be the things that we go to when we just want a snack. Now, there are good carbs and bad carbs, as you most likely know, and you really want to try to eat more of the good carbs. That's the goal. So you can get the containers separately or with your fitness program, with your program that you choose. You can get them in there. But basically, this is how they work. Whether you're doing the 21-day fix or whichever program and you're using the containers, they will have a little formula for you to go through to calculate. Let's try formula for you to calculate how many containers you get for the day. So what you do is you calculate the formula, and then they'll have these different charts with calorie ranges, and you see which calorie range you're in, and then that tells you how many containers you get for the day. So then the book will tell you what goes in these containers. Like the green are your vegetables. And the vegetables at the top are going to be the most nutritious, and then they go down. So that's kind of helpful especially when it comes to the carbs, because you have healthy carbs and not so healthy. And so like sweet potatoes and yams are at the top of the list, and your bread and your crackers are at the bottom of the list, because you don't want to be eating as much of those. So each container has a purpose. The yellow is the carbs, the red is your protein, the blue is going to be your healthy fats like avocado. So it tells you exactly what to do and how many you get. And then what you want to do is you want to do a little bit of meal planning, because that's where I struggled when I taught high school full time and my boys were home, and so we did soccer and band, and my husband and I had to cook, and I had to do homework, grade papers and homework with the kids. I had a lot going on, like I'm sure you do. We're all busy. Well, I wasn't the best of meal planners, so I would usually plan out the next evening's meals, and we kind of had our lunches. I kind of did it day by day. Well, it really actually saves you a lot of time if you can plan a lot up front. So if you take time to prep things for maybe not the whole week, if that's too overwhelming, because it can be, but maybe if you just prep for a couple of days, I promise you it saves you time, because when I do it just for my husband and I make all our little salads, and I know what I'm having for dinner, and I chop up some of the vegetables, it's just ready to go. Then when you get there, you're saving tons of time. So that extra hour you're spending prepping is saving you several more hours during the week. Plus, you have stuff to grab and go, like healthy snacks, stuff like that. So in the group, when you join my groups, I have this in there for you, is this meal plan. And this is on Excel, but basically I just think it's easier if you kind of see how somebody eats and follows the containers, and then you can adjust it. So if there's a vegetable that you don't like, you just switch it out. So if you don't like asparagus, you switch it out for something else, like spinach or broccoli or whatever. But at least it kind of gives you a starting place. At least that has helped me with the planning. And we have tons tons of meal plans for you. So like if you're vegetarian or you're vegan or you don't eat grains, we have all of that for you. So there's plenty of resources. Your nutrition guide, or like whether it's the portion fix or the nutrition guide from the 21 day fix, will give you recipes. It'll actually even give you a meal plan for the day, like how to eat. And this was a big eye opener. So not only did I realize when I started using these containers that I wasn't eating enough vegetables throughout the day, I was eating them all at dinner, I also realized that I was eating way too many carbs. And that's why my body wasn't changing. And I don't think at the time I was eating enough protein either. So that was one problem. The other problem was that I used to just eat 3 meals a day. And so I would be starving in the afternoon, and I would come home while making dinner and just eat everything in sight, whatever I could find. Plus I was eating half of the dinner, and then of course I ate my dinner. And that again was a problem. And I also wasn't really a good breakfast eater. Like Pop-Tarts and toaster strudels weren't so good for me. That's where I started. That's how I ate. So when I learned how to do this eating where you eat 3 meals and 2 snacks, that just really worked for me. Because I was never hungry, I was never starving, and a lot of women that I work with, they don't do breakfast. It's like, no, I can't eat that early. Well, I was like that too. I couldn't eat that early either. But what was happening is that I was slowing my metabolism down. And as we age, it slows down enough. So what happens is when you don't eat enough, your body is holding on to all those calories and it's basically storing fat because it doesn't know when it's going to get fed again. So that is why it helps when you eat every 2 to 3 hours, somewhere in that range. And it's getting the food it needs, it's getting the nutrients it needs, and it starts letting go of that fat. That is what my women are finding in the group, because like I said, they're losing inches and they're losing pant sizes. They're losing weight, but actually they're losing more inches than weight, because I've had several women who are, they get discouraged after a week or two. And so they post in the group like, what is up with this? I don't feel like I'm changing. And all the other ladies will say, I didn't think I was either until I measured. And then I measured, I lost 6 inches. Oh my gosh. And I didn't think anything was happening, but it is. You really notice it more in your clothes than you will on the scale. So when I started eating this way with the snacks and the meals and eating breakfast, that got my metabolism going, and I lost over 20 pounds, and I went down from pushing a size 10 to a size 4. So I'd never been a size 4 in my life. So that's what it can do for you. So it's really important, especially if you're not eating breakfast. So women that don't eat breakfast and then they start doing this, they actually have really great success, because you've kind of been starving your body and you've slowed your metabolism down, because it is going to slow down over time, but that doesn't mean that's how it has to be. If you do these exercises, these workout programs, you exercise daily and you eat properly, you can rev that sucker back up. Okay, because I've done it. I know several people over 50 that have done it. So don't think that just because you're in menopause, this is how it has to be. Matter of fact, my very good friend, she plays tennis, and she lost over 30 pounds and has improved her tennis game, has learned how to eat healthier. She just thought that the way she felt was normal, and the way she felt at the time was crappy and sluggish, and she just thought she was supposed to be bloated after she ate, but you're not supposed to be. That's not how you were meant to be. And so once you get on track, you will be amazed. And you just do it, a little bit at a time. So that's pretty much how the containers work. It might seem complicated, but it's not, because as you use them, you start getting in your head, your brain, you start thinking to yourself, okay, I get 2 carbs. Okay, this was a carb, so I had that carb, and I know I'm going to go do this tonight, so I'm going to save my carb for tonight. And you just start getting in your head like, okay, I already had 3 proteins. I need 1 more protein. And you get it. And then you also start realizing that you can start eyeballing how much you should be eating. Because a lot of times when you go and you eat out and you have something like, let's say with rice, that's usually like 4 portions of rice. It's not 1 portion of rice. And then we wonder why we're gaining weight, or we're not losing weight, or we're holding on to weight. So that's pretty much why, because our portions are all out of whack. So here are the containers. They're so cute. So this is for your veggies. This is your protein. This is your carbs. We never seem to have enough of those. This is your healthy fat. And this is your seeds and salad dressings And then this is your fruit, which I have my fruit in there. This is actually a lot of fruit because when I do oatmeal and I add fruit to it, I usually add maybe half of this because a whole thing of fruit is a lot. So then I have fruit for later in the day. And you can do that. You can do like, excuse me, a half a container and then keep track of them. So the way it works is like, let's say I'm going to have those egg muffins with eggs and veggies in them. So I'm making a whole bunch of those egg muffins. You're just going to make those up, and 2 of those count as a serving. So that would be 1 of your reds, and that would probably be about 1 green if you put a ton of veggies. Oh, it's not a green, 1 green. But if you put a lot of veggies in it, might only be a half a green. It kind of depends how many veggies you have in those little egg muffins. Basically, like for me, I get 3 containers of greens. So I make sure I eat my 3 containers, but I often eat way more than that because, you know, the greens like lettuce, radishes, carrots, cucumbers, that's not what's making you fat. Okay, you're not eating too much of that. So do make sure you get your greens in, but you can have more. So that's how my breakfast would be counted. If I then had oatmeal and fruit, oatmeal would be a carb, and then my fruit would be a purple. And you just keep track. So like I told you before, I've got these little sheets for you in the group, or you can do the tracker. But that's basically how the containers work. They're just totally awesome. And when you get them, they might look like, oh my gosh, like this is nothing. I'm not hardly going to get anything. But when you fill it up and dump it on your plate, it's actually a lot of food. I mean, this is a lot of fruit. And this is actually a lot of protein, but it just totally keeps you on track. I just had one of my women yesterday who just got her containers. So she's been starting her programs, but she didn't have the containers, and she just got them, and she was like, oh my gosh, that's how much I'm supposed to be eating. No wonder I'm overweight. So those are just some things that you want to think about. It really does help you. It's like I said, it's totally changed my women's lives because it's really dialed in their nutrition. And these little containers are so cute. They have great little lids, so you can just put your stuff in them and take it to work with you. And they're really nice, like Tupperware. I mean, it's tight. And they're dishwasher safe, so you can pop them in the dishwasher. What I normally do is, like, if I'm going to take a big salad, I'll have my salad bowl, and I will use these to measure stuff out and dump it into one big bowl, and that's what I'll take. So I'll dump my lettuce in there. I'll measure my protein, my chicken, my egg, whatever. I'll dump that in there. You know, if I have like quinoa in my salad, I'll dump that in there. And so that's how I use them. And then I don't actually take the little individual ones, but you can take them if you're taking snacks. I see people do that. And then if you're not using them, you're going on a trip, you can put like your pills in these little containers or your jewelry or something like that. They're great containers, but they are awesome for keeping you on track. So I just wanted to make sure you actually saw them, because in the previous video, I'd lent them out and I didn't have them. So here they are. They're great. So please make sure you ask any questions that you might have if I've left something out.